poem Dream Deferred was written by Langston Hughes in 1951. The poem is indirectly about the Harlem Renaissance. We think that the dream he talks about in the poem is the same dream as the dream of the Harlem Renaissance.
What happens to a dream deferred? Does it dry up like a raisin in the sun, or fester like a sore and then run? Does it stink like rotten meat, or crust and sugar over like a syrupy sweet? Maybe it just sags like a heavy load, or does it explode?
In the poem, simile is used many times to describe what happens to a dream that is put on the shelf. The similes that are used in this poem are dry up like a raisin, fester like a sore, sugar over like a syrupy sweet, smell like rotten meat, and sag like a heavy load. The first example in the poem is, does it dry up like a raisin? This, the poet means, does the dream dry out and shrink into much less than it was before? The next one, does it fester like a sore? If you don't treat an infected wound, it will just get worse. The same thing will happen to a dream if you do not act on it. The third one, does it stink like rotten meat? Means that the dream deteriorates. The dream that was once luscious and attractive is now rotted and transformed into a grey shadow of its former self. The fourth one, does it crust and sugar over like a syrupy sweet? In some cases, food that is left in certain conditions begin to develop a crusty sweet layer of sugar on top. This signifies remembering the dream as something sweeter than it really was. This simile stands out because it, unlike the others, can be seen as something positive. It can, however, also be seen as something negative. Maybe it has gone too far. Maybe it has gone so far that the dream has become too sweet to an extent where it has become nauseating. The last one, does it sag like a heavy load? The dream has transformed into a burden instead of something positive. It weighs down the people who once dreamed it. Instead of being an inspiring thought crafted by the intellectuals, it is a source of dismay to the next generations.
The dream is the only example of personification in this poem. The entire poem is in fact a personification of the dream. It can dry up, it can explode, it can fester like a sore, rot, sag, and run. These are human traits that a dream can't actually do, which makes it personification.
Many of the words used in the poem have connotations. A dream is a word that carries with it the connotation of something deeply desired. To say that it has been deferred means that it has been put off into the far distance. Hughes proceeds to list a series of dichotomies. First, the immediate possibilities of the deferral, whether the dream will dry up or fester. For the dream to dry up, it implies that the dreamers will stop dreaming, whereas a festering wound implies a progressively unpleasant outcome. In his next dichotomy, he compares the two possibilities of the outward appearance of the dream's death, whether it will stink like rotten meat or crust and sugar over. That is, whether the dream's diseased condition will be immediately apparent and repulsive, or whether it will appear superficially pleasant. Concluding the poem, Hughes again presents a dichotomy. Will the dreamers accept their burden and cease to dream, as the dream sags like a heavy load? Or will they revolt, demanding the fulfillment of their dream as the dream explodes?